What would you do if you went on a vacation in another city and suddenly found yourself in another country altogether? I guess it will be a more adventurous time, and even many of you enjoy such a change of place, right? But most of us will be confused. Anyway, I bet even the most reckless of the adventurers will at least raise an eyebrow if they are told that they are flown for at least half a century. On 2nd July 1955, Pan American Flight 1914 made its way from the Newark to Miami, Florida. It was a fine sunny day and 57 passengers on the plane were looking forward to see the warm beaches and palm trees of the Florida. The plane took off without any trouble, but 3 hours later, when it should have already landed at the destination of the airport, it was nowhere to be seen. And when the air traffic control contacted the Newark Tower, they got a perplexing reply. Flight 1914 just disappeared from the radars in the mid-air. Everything indicated that the plane was lost. Apart from having vanished from the radars, the air traffic control couldn't get through the pilot with the radio. The DC-4 simply vanished into the air, leaving no trace of itself or any of the people on board. Investigation was started right away, and the flight route took off the plane over the part of the Atlantic Ocean, and it seems the only explanation of the vanishing, which was that it was crashed somewhere along the way. The rescue teams were deployed, the Coast Guard were scanning the waters, and still no look. Not a single piece of the lost plane was to be found. Investigators could only shrug their shoulders in dismay. 61 people, passengers plus the crew, just blink out of existence along with the huge flying machine. Eventually, although the case was not really solved, but there was an official statement that the plane was crashed, taking the life of everyone in the boat. No one could say what really happened to the flight 1914 until 37 years later at least. Change of times. It is now 9 September 1992 and we are in Caracas, Venezuela. It was a normal day for the air traffic controller at the Caracas airport. He turned up at work, made some coffee and took his seat over a looking flight when something weird happened. A dew dart appeared on the radar and it was an aircraft. The air traffic controller popped up from nothing this or as if it had been hiding from the radar and now decided to show up. Either way, it was a strange thing that happened and he read the reading several times thinking it was a mistake at first. But it wasn't though. The readings were correct. In less than 10 minutes, the aircraft showed up in the field of vision. At first, it looked up to the air traffic controller as an ordinary airplane, but it got as closer they could see it was in fact a very old DC-4 McDonnell Douglas passenger aircraft, still with propellers instead of the modern turbines. But that was the even beginning of the weird. The real confusion began when the pilot of the aircraft contacted the tower and asked in English that where are we? And the aircraft tower replied that they were closing in on the Caracas airport and asked where was the flight headed. And the pilot answered, "We are Pan Am Flight 914 heading from the Newark to Miami, Florida, with a crew of 4 and 57 passengers on board." This took the air controller completely off guard. What was the Pan Am doing 1100 miles away from the point of destination? And how did it even get there? The air controller decided to ask these questions after landing of the aircraft. And then the aircraft landed without any trouble, having a relaxed of a little bit. Then the air controller asked the pilot, "Do you know today is May 21, 1992? And when the security guards reached to take off the passengers, and as they were moving towards the aircraft, the pilot did something nobody expected. Vaughn heard the flight captain's panic voice saying, "No, stay away, we are leaving now." And indeed, he started the engines again, and without waiting for any takeoff plans, he simply drove through the runway, accelerated, and took off. For some time, the plane could be seen, and then it only appeared as a dot on the radar, and then it vanished again. Smell that? Smells kind of fishy, right? I must say though, there are much dispute of the credibility of the aircraft. Back in 1985, a newspaper called Weekly World News was the first to cover this story. And yes, I just said 1985, 7 years before the most popular version appeared. Later, the same newspaper retold the story twice more, but only with other details, and with 1992 set as the date of the time traveling aircraft to bring in the future. The picture of the air controller of the Caracas airport also differed from the 1985 original. So, the story was largely announced fake, and it became the sort of an urban legend. However, the legend still lives, and many of the sources retold it in a wrong way. Some even go as far as they say that the passengers of the plane eventually returned to their home, and strangely none of them looked the day older than 37 years prior. They say doctor examined the pilot, the crew, but didn't find anything out of ordinary. The people were healthy. Now, this was a nonsense because no solid pieces of evidence can't be found of the 61 people returning from a decade-long flight. I mean, come on, wouldn't they run out of snacks? One thing that keeps popping on the internet and piquing the interest of the paranormal enthusiasts is a small pocket calendar that somehow is left on the Caracas airport runway when the plane took off. The thing about is that it was a 1955 calendar. There are people who still claimed that the calendar is real, but again, there is no actual proof of the existence. And what do you say? Was the flight 914 really lost in the time for 37 years? Or it was just a hoax? Let me know down in the comments. And if you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share with all of your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.